Hello, it's Melinda from Scrapbooking and Craft. Just coming on today to continue with my page that I started filming the other day. So part 1 is already up on YouTube. I'll leave a link to part 1 in the bottom in the description box. So this is the page I started. I stuck some perfume bottles down the bottom and I did some watercolour pencils. So today I'm going to have a fun with activating the watercolour and see what we get. So I've got some water pens here, so let's see what we're doing. So if you're just tuning into part 2, it's just watercolour pencil that I've drawn with, just water soluble pencils, and it's just on book paper, and I've actually stuck 4 of the book pages together just to give it a bit more stability. They're a bit thin, the book pages. So that's just with the regular just kids hard glue stick. I find that works best. So I thought I'd come in here. What I thought I might do is having a bit of an experiment with, I've seen a few people use acrylic paint to activate water soluble media as well. So I've actually got some Delusions white paint, so I thought I might do that on the flowers and see what sort of effect that does. So just trying to blend out. Or my pencil, I may come over it again. I may not. Let's see what it does. I should have actually started on the other side, shouldn't I? Then I won't drag my hand across it. So I'm actually trying a new camera angle at the moment. I've actually worked out how in YouTube to actually flip a movie upside down. If that's old news, I'm sorry if it's old news to you, but I thought it was quite exciting when I found that. So that means I can position my camera in front of me and film upside down, and then I just take it into the program and upload it to YouTube and schedule it for a few days out. And then I just go in and flip it up the right way, do any other editing I need to do, and then I'll put it up live. What I might do is while this page is still wet, what I might do is grab my paintbrush and my white paint and have a go at those flowers. Don't know what it will do. I think I saw the lady, and I can't remember who it was now, activating Caran d'Ache, which I'd love to get, but oh, they're expensive. Caran d'Ache crayons with white paint because they're water soluble. So I thought, so I'll just put my jar of water up to the top. So I thought I will see if we can activate watercolour pencils with some Delusions white paint. This is by, and I always get these two people mucked up, and I can't see it on the lid, and I don't really want to tip the top upside down, but they're Delusions paints. So I actually don't think I want much paint. I know it will probably lighten the colour, but let's see if we can get, because I know when this Delusions paint is dry, it's actually permanent, and it takes, like, you can draw over it really well with pens, so I'm hoping you can do that with pencil. So let's do this on this side of the page. So it's actually picking up the colour from underneath, which is really cool. The only thing I didn't bring over today was my heat gun. I unplugged it the other day and didn't bring it back to my table. That's right, I might be able to move on to something else and wait for it to. So I'm actually using a bit of water and the paint just to activate the flowers. So it does lighten the colour, but that's okay. I'm going to come back over the top of it, I think, as well. Just going to check the back side of the page is looking quite not wet, and it's not soaking through that much. And I'm wondering when this is dry, because I'll go to the other side and do the other flowers. Because when this Delusions paint dries, it actually dries permanent. So then you can add more layers up the top. So I'm wondering if it will do that with the watercolour added to it, or whether the watercolour medium would be still water soluble. Let's try to get some highlights on these leaves. So it is, the paint is mixing with the watercolour. I'm just getting the tiniest little bit of paint. Don't need a lot of this Delusions paint, it does go a long way. So I'm sort of getting some different tones on my leaves, and I might come back in and draw the detail again later. Trying not to get my hand in the wet paint on the journal page, which will be a bit of a disaster if I do that. So it does pastel down your colours, but that's okay. Only experimenting. Quite liking how this is turning out. A bit different to I envisaged it. So these flowers actually look like they're dry, so let's have a go in with our... Let's put our lid back on our paint before we have a disaster, and it tends to dry out rather quickly, that. Let's see how the pencils go up over the top of the paint. Yeah, they're sort of going on alright. Sometimes when you draw, I find I draw over with paint with pencils, it sort of digs in, but this seems to be nice and smooth. Be interesting if I go and water activate this, or whether it would be activating the layer underneath. Bright pink in the middle. I can't really see the bright pink in the middle. I'm choosing whether here, let's take, this is dry here, and that's what I activated with the paint. So I'm just going to see whether, actually I don't think that paint's coming up. I've got a white bit of paper I can paint on. See if it's coming up. It's a bit of scrap paper. So there's another one that I painted. Slightly, almost can't see the colour. Let's try one of these ones, one of the purple flowers. So I'm giving it a good go with the water. Let's do one where we just did, so this is just watercolour. Oh, you can see a big difference. So this is just the watercolour pencil. This is the watercolour pencil I've activated with the paint. So you can see you're not actually picking up very, very small amount. That's actually really cool. So again, this is just watercolour pencil. So you can sort of see this is watercolour pencil just activated with water and brought back up again. This in here is actually, you can almost not see it. It's the Delusions paint activating the paint. So you're hardly getting any off, which is, that's rather cool. I'll have to experiment some more with that. Put that aside. So it does sort of seal in your water soluble media, which is kind of cool. I don't know how far I'm going to take this page. I did set my time for half an hour because I don't really want these to go over half an hour, but we haven't been going that long. Let's come over here and see if we can put some more detail back in these leaves. Try a dark colour, there we go. So we can go over the painted surface really well with the watercolour pencils again. Just wondering if I brought anything to the table that I could use for a quote for this. And I'm just looking around and I don't think I did. All my stuff is sort of not where I craft at the moment, which gets a bit annoying because I really have to think before I turn the camera on what I want to use. I'm not sure whether I want to grunge up these these perfume bottles or leave them whole. Sort of making it a bit more bushy, which is kind of cute. I'll go back in over these flowers, then I might call this done. I could sit here and fiddle for hours. Sometimes I don't know when to stop a journal page. So I sort of tell my daughter, she's just turning 8, and I said, sometimes less is more. She goes, what do you mean, Mummy? I said, sometimes you need to know when to stop, Alexis. She goes, oh, I think I have to learn that as well. I do have a magazine, one magazine sitting next to me. Let's see if I can quickly find some sort of quote to put on the page. Retreat, relax, trying to work with magazines in knowing what to use. Let's just have a quick flip through. See if I can find some words that stick out to me. I must get the word box. I've only just found a few of these really nice magazines. Daisy Dream. What about Daisy Dream? No, they're not really daisies, are they? So I must go through these magazines and cut out a lot of words so I can just have them don't know whether I'm going to find anything quickly. And it's a bit boring looking. There's no watching me flip through magazines. I just thought if something jumped out at me quickly, I could finish. Nothing is really jumping out at me. Actually, that could work. I'm thinking of using lead, it, don't follow, and then I want lead, it, don't follow, beautiful. No, lead, don't follow. More seconds and then I do like the startings of that. Lead, it, don't follow. I'm looking just for a word, don't follow. Some beautiful images in here. I just don't know how to use them at the moment. Some more YouTube watching, I think, to get some more inspiration. You never find a word when you want one. Is that the word the way? Lead, it, don't follow. Actually, I like this one better. One thing I found, these magazines are very hard to pull out. Okay. I've actually found this quote I like a bit better. Sorry about that. If I knew how to fast forward, I would have fast forward through that bit. So my to-do list to learn for next year. So I've actually found this that says fresh to market. I think I'm just going to use this fresh to market. Just for something, and that's something I want to work on next year, is actually adding more quotes to my pages. A lot of the times I don't do quotes because I just don't know what to say. So I'm going to force myself to move outside my comfort zone, trying to find a glue stick, and add quotes now before I start gluing. Let's work out where we're going to go. Fresh to market. I don't know, play on the flowers in the perfumes, I suppose. I don't know. Sort of sounded good in my head. Sometimes things sound good in my head, but when you get them out on paper, then they are two different stories. Oopsies. A lot of oopsies today, fresh to market. And I might just outline. Black. Okay, I really should clean up my tables on doing these videos so I can find things without scourging underneath. Just trying to find my black. It's my black watercolour pencil. My poor little black watercolour pencil is looking a bit sad. I just want to trace around all these, and hopefully this does not make absolute mud when I go to activate the black pencil I'm about to put on. Sometimes I do this and it looks good, sometimes I do this and I go, oh my god, what was I thinking? Because it just didn't activate the right way. Must get my hands on a Stabilo pencil. I've been seeing a lot of YouTubers use those and they tend to work. They tend to be a lot more inky than this. This is obviously a watercolour pencil, but it doesn't seem to be. Let's see if we can just smudge this without smudging around. Just let these cutouts stand out a bit more. But I'm hoping not to smudge the actual watercolour background that I've got. Maybe I should have sealed it with something. Hey, it's all learning. A bit of shadow down here. And I'm liking it with the shadow. Yeah, I find the watercolour pencil doesn't, I don't know, activate as much as what I've seen this Stabilo pencil do, but I haven't been able to track one down in Australia yet. Trying to use up what supplies I have. I've sort of bought a lot in the last couple of years when I see things on YouTube or see things in magazines and go, oh, I'd like to play with that. And a lot of the supplies are still sitting unopened. So this year it's my year to use up what I've got instead of running out and buying more. It's just a bit of dead space down here. Where some of the cutouts just didn't make it all the way to the bottom. So I'm just trying to smudge all that in. Then I think I might call this page done. What do you think? I call it done. I'll just missed about a centimetre over here of the, like I've still got the raw book paper showing, so if I smudge it with the dark, that looks a lot better. And I might just put a little bit more here. And a bit down here on the edge. Just want that a bit darker down the bottom. So it gives it a bit more of a shadow effect. Okay, I think I'm done. That actually held up really well, the paper sticking 4 pages together to the wet media. Be interesting when I add paint and things to this, whether the paper holds up just as well. Sorry this has been a bit stop-starty when I've talked and not talked. I'm still getting used to talking while I work. I think that's why a lot of people do voiceovers, because you can totally concentrate on what you're doing while you're doing it, and then when you're doing the voiceovers you can so I can't talk and paint, you can just do the voiceovers watching back your work. Okay, I'll leave it for there. That's my finished fresh to market page. I'm actually just thinking, do I border the top like I've done the black, the base, or do I leave it? No, I think I'm going to leave it. I think I'm going to stop playing. I like how I've shadowed all in here behind the bottles, and it's a bit darker than the top. So I think I am going to leave that. Thank you for watching. If you haven't checked out part 1, the first part of the video, I'll put the link in the description box below. And I look forward to doing a few more journal pages like this in the coming weeks. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.